الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والعاقبة للمتقين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. About 17 years ago, in a past life, when I was Imam in Masjid Abu Bakr in New Orleans, before I had the privilege of having Sheikh Yasser trying to take my space, he wasn't in New Orleans. I had my own office in New Orleans. And it was very private, by the way. It was actually the library as well. It was really something special. You should see it one day, Sheikh. You can visit one day. But in a previous life, 17 years ago, I remember vividly, in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, I gave this lecture about making sure that you catch Salatul Isha and Salatul Fajr in Jama'ah and how special it is, and to push yourselves as much as you can. And then I was feeling a little bit tired after Taraweeh, so I said, you know what, let me just go home, let me grab something to eat, and let me kind of refresh myself, and then I'll come back to the masjid and I'll finish the night with the people. And we actually used to do like a khatira at the tahajjud time as well, and then I will, keep myself till Fajr there and everything will be good. I went home, I grabbed a bite to eat, sat on the couch. I woke up after Adhan al-Fajr. And it was one of the worst days of my life. I felt so miserable that entire day. Like, how did I miss Salatul Fajr? Not only did I miss Qiyam, I missed Fajr in the masjid on an odd night. I felt nasty, and I realized that there was a trick from Shaitan. It was the 23rd night of Ramadan that at that point, I didn't feel motivated to even work for the rest of the nights. Because, you've always got those people. You know who those people are? Those people are the people that say, man, last night definitely had to be it. I felt so great. Did you see the sun last night? Did you see how wonderful it was? And you're just like, God, that was the one night I felt like I tapped out and I didn't do what I needed to do. And I don't even feel motivated to pursue anymore. And subhanAllah, at that moment, I truly came to appreciate a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that's actually narrated through several routes, and it's a beautiful hadith. And I'll preface it with one that is more well known. The Prophet ﷺ said that if one of you eats and drinks by accident during the day of fasting, then what should he do? He should continue fasting. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَطْعَمَهُ Allah Azza wa Jal fed him and gave him to drink. Allah at'amahu wa saqa. It was Allah who gave him something to eat and something to drink. Therefore, it was a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you forgot momentarily, but your actual fasting was not harmed. Now, by the way, this isn't like the person that trips in the kitchen, shawarma falls in his mouth and the water falls in his mouth. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about you forgot for a moment, you ate something, you took a date, whatever it may be, you woke up in the morning, you made your coffee, you thought that today was not a day of Ramadan. Allah is the one. Like the Prophet ﷺ not only said, you should not be ashamed, nor should you be to blame. Allah is the one who gave you something to eat and drink. It was a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now continue on with your fasting. The hadith that I'm speaking about is a hadith from al-Mu'minin Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, as well as Abu Darda radiallahu anhu and other companions. It's narrated through more than one round, that the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever intends to pray something from the night, and then he slept through that time that he was supposed to pray, كُتِبَ لَهُ مَا نَوَى. Everything that he intended to pray was written for him. وَكَانَ نَوْمُهُ صَدَقَةً. And his charity, or his sleep, was a charity from Allah Azza wa Jal to him. His sleep was a charity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to him. How beautiful of a hadith. Whoever intends to pray something from the night, and then he sleeps through that period, حَتَّى أَصْبَحْ. And in one narration, there's so many narrations, غَلَبَتْهُ عَيْنَاهُ, like his eyes got the best of him. He fell asleep. Yesterday there was a brother in Fajr. I'm not picking on you, but I thought he might have died in his sujood. He didn't get up from his sajda. We're all getting beat up in these last 10 nights. We're pushing ourselves. We're trying to immediately adjust our clocks. We're trying to get used to staying awake all night. But your eyes get the best of you. Your body, you just doze off. And then you wake up. And by the time you try to get back into the mode, especially if you have intended that the last hour of the night you're going to spend it worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كُتِبَ لَهُ مَا نَوَى. Allah Azza wa Jal wrote it down for you. As the ulama say in the sharh of this hadith, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it down for you. كَأَنَّكَ صَلَّيْتَهُ فِي ذَاكِ اللَّيْلَةِ فِي تِلْكَ اللَّيْلَةِ. As if you prayed it at that time, at the time that you intended. So Allah wrote down the full ajr for you. And the sleep was a charity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah Azza wa Jal sees that you need some rest, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you something to do. And if you stand up then and pray even after Fajr, meaning after Al-Duha, then Allah Azza wa Jal will credit you even extra. The reason why I share this hadith is not just for the immediate practical benefit. That look, we're going to make plans, and we have to make plans, and we should adjust ourselves. That means taking a nap throughout the, at some point in the day if you can. That means not eating in a way that's, going to induce a food coma, right, at iftar. That means trying to put your habits in line so that you can stay up during the night and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means that if indeed you get to a point, as the Prophet ﷺ said, where you don't even know what you're saying anymore. Was the case of Zainab radiallahu anha outside of Ramadan, but the point still stands. Having a rope tied in the masjid to hold herself. If you don't even know what you're saying anymore, and you say, I'm going to take a 15-minute nap, a 30-minute nap, so I can refresh myself, and I can wake up in the later part of the night, and I can have a sincere dua, some sincere moments between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the person who is being addressed here, that Allah Azza wa Jal is far more kind and far more merciful. And remember that you are making the dua, Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. You love to forgive, O Allah. And so certainly Allah Azza wa Jal loves to reward a person for their intention, even if they find themselves physically in a difficult situation. The other thing is that I remind you and myself that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was never because we deserved it. That Allah's forgiveness in these last 10 nights or outside of these last 10 nights was never because we earned it. That our entrance into Jannah is never going to be because of our deeds. It's always going to be because of Allah's mercy and because of our sincere effort that qualifies us for Allah's mercy despite its shortcomings, and Allah's mercy making up the shortcomings. So dear brothers and sisters, if these last few nights, we're now at the midpoint, we've passed half the nights of the last 10. If at some point you felt like I had a really bad night, or this last 10 nights is not going the right way for me, like I really thought I was going to attack these 10 nights in the right way, but these first 5 nights, I don't feel too good about them. إِنَّ الَّذِي تَطْلُبُ أَمَامَكَ. That which you seek is still ahead of you. It could be that Laylatul Qadr is still there, and certainly the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal is there. So do your best, seek Allah's mercy, and if something happens along the way that's out of your control, that too is a manifestation of Allah's mercy. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.